It says I'm alive. Are you alive today? You got to be alive. So today we're going to talk about Gauley and Featherfest. And they are both American Whitewater's biggest fundraisers. They're an organization that advocates for river access and a lot of other things, advocating for better put-ins, access to put-ins. When someone puts up a gate on a property and it's an easement and it's not legal, they go to battle for it. They also promote water releases. They advocate to get us water releases from public utilities, like out of SMUD, Sacramento Municipal Utility District. That's actually with like Slab Creek, Pit. I don't know if you've ever all heard of the Pit, or you see the 30-foot drop that they do. That's actually a release of water from powerhouses and dams. So they they advocate to get recreational releases. Actually, the Feather is regulated too to do Poe to Bardies. I think Poe Canyon is that's a release too. So again, that's everything that American Whitewater advocates for. They were part of the Klamath Dams removal. That was like a 20-year project. That wasn't just them. That was like probably 20 more other organizations fighting for that, which it took 20 years to remove. Like, I think it's 3 or 4 dams they moved on it. So now it's a free flowing river again. So, yeah. And their first festival is Gauley Fest, which let me look at a phone here. I got to look at a calendar. Is first weekend of Gauley will be the 4th, September 4th will be opening day of Gauley. Gauley season runs to the second week of October, which should be like the 11th and 12th because they only do it on the weekends, the last 2 weekends. It'll only be Saturday and Sunday. Before that, they do 4 days. They do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I think all of September. So, and Gauley Fest will be, it's either going to be the 13th or the 20th is when Gauley will be. It's usually it's in the teens, so it's probably the 20th. And then Featherfest will be the 27th. Either way, it's going to be 13th and 20th or 20th and 27th this year. For 2025 will be the festivals. Again, this is when American Whitewater gets their biggest fundraisers, and they do good work. I know Teresa personally. I met her at Boatsmith. Got another guy named Gary. He spoke at Boatsmith. And they talk about also there's a mine on the Smith River that they're wanting to put in, and it's been revoked many, many, many times. And the biggest reason, thank God, is it's people's drinking water, which you can drink right out of the Smith on the North Fork because it's that clean. It really is until it hits town. And then when you get everybody's sewer coming in, which isn't good. But even then, it's still pretty good. But if you put on the North Fork app, what's that? Major Moores, it's super clean up that way because there's nobody that lives up that way. So it gives it nice, clean water. But so, yeah, Gauley Fest is in West Virginia outside of Summersville. They put in at the dam below Summersville Lake. And there's 3 big tubes that shoot out the water. And usually the water is anywhere from 1,800 to 3,600 CFS. Normally it's only like 500 or 600 CFS, just enough for fish because fish always get priority. At least need at least enough water for fish. So, but again, it'll be 18 to 3,200. If there's issues, my first year there was a fatality, which sucked. They cut the water back down from like 3,600 to like 1,800 or 1,500, where it's more, where you can get into different spots to rescue people. And then the Feather Fest is the same thing. It's the following weekend, and it's a release also. They get water Friday. I think they get it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I know they definitely get water on Saturday and Sunday. They more than likely probably get it Friday. Because I know, like at the Russell Fork, someone told me like normally it's just Saturday and Sunday. But like, oh no, you can get water. I think they even give it to them Thursday. The very first weekend and the last weekend of Russell Fork, you get more days. You actually get, I think Thursday even if you push the ticket. I think they get the operators to give them water at least once in the day. So they get a bump, like at 10 or 11, they get a bump. So and then it probably cuts off at 3. So you at least get a run. So. Also, you can make phone calls to operators to ask for water. I know, like on the Wow Mile, there at least has to be 2 people to get water. And every year, American Whitewater tries to at least get somebody to show up for that. So we get them in a habit of giving us water. Like, because if they're like, oh, no one shows up, we'll just keep it. And then out of sight, out of mind. So how we advocate for our own water rights is to show up and go boating. Sometimes there's petitions given out. A couple of my friends have sent me petitions. Hey, sign this, fill out your, give your opinion, write an opinion on it. So more than just giving money to American Whitewater to advocate for water and stuff and access is to do paperwork. And I know it's like, oh my God, we got to do paperwork, but paperwork does just as good or more than the money does. So, because it's called taking action, which is a good thing because that's how we get water. Same thing, the Grand Canyon, that's a water release. Everyone's like, really? I'm like, yeah, it comes out of a dam. It comes out of Lake Powell, and it goes all the way to Lake Mead. And technically there was 2 more dams proposed in Grand Canyon. And thank God they axed them. It'd be nice if all the dams came out, because then it would all be free flowing. Makes a difference because some outfitters, they like that consistent, controllable flow. Sometimes you get longer seasons because of the controllable flow, but at the end of the day, free flowing is better. You get higher water. If you like high water like I do in a creature craft, or if you're a really good kayaker that can type really good online and say, I'm awesome. Say, I have skills. Even though I wear a life jacket and a helmet and a paddle and a boat. Real skill is just to jump in the water. So anyway, yeah, that's American Whitewater. They're the ones that they host. It's a big festival. Gauley's huge. I've been there. Joey Ashbridge has been a person that's always helped year after year after year. He does a lot. Shout out to Joey. I've been there and I was like, what are we doing? He's like, well, we got to go to this, we got to go to that, and we got to do this. It's a big laundry list of what they have to do in about a week, pretty much 3 days. I think it starts on a Monday or Tuesday, and then the festival starts like that Thursday or Friday. So in like 3 days or 4, it's a big production. So, and it's awesome. Highly recommend showing up, supporting it, support all the vendors because they pay for booths, which helps supports American Whitewater. So again, like I said, it's Gauley Fest and it's Feather. And then Feather Fest is on the Feather River at something Jim's campground. Indian Jim's campground is where it's at, off Route 70, I think it is, the road is. It's out of Oroville. You drive out of Oroville about 30 or 40 minutes, and it's on the right. You can't miss it. There'll be people all over the place up in there. So usually it gets packed along the sides. I've showed up before Friday night. You can't even get down into the parking lot. Like, you got to park up on the road. And then there's like a mile or 2 of road. There's for the put in for the Tobin run, there's a parking area too that people park and camp at. So there's a lot of options for the Feather. And then also for the Gauley, like, there's all kinds of options. There's campgrounds. You can camp at the Gauley Fest. I think it's like $60 for the weekend. They let people camp there. There's all kinds of campgrounds. There's all kinds of hotels that are available in the Summersville area. So anyway, this is Bill just talking about American Whitewater, the work they do. I've also met Tom O'Keefe. I think that's how you say it. Forgive me if I pronounce your name wrong. I met him at the put-in of Three Forks to Rome. They were actually doing some political work. They were taking a governor and I think a senator down the Owyhee. Well, they were planning on it, but the river didn't cooperate. It only was like 200. And that's actually a controlled river too. And people are like, no, it's not. I'm like, yes, it is. There's a reservoir that they funnel a lot. Once the reservoir is filled, then it goes back to, quote, free flowing. But until then, they do regulate the Owyhee. I looked into it because I wanted to do the whole Grand Canyon of the Owyhee. So, and I met Thomas O'Keefe, and he does awesome. Like, there's lots of legality stuff they do. So to represent, bring things before, the court and before the government and before public utilities commissions, because that's who they mostly deal with a lot. I was told of one up in Washington that's a class 5+. It's like class 0 when there's no water, but it's like a 3-mile section that looks be an awesome creature craft run for sure. It's up in Washington. I forget where it's at. It's north of Seattle. It's out there. It's kind of where the what's those rivers called? My brain ain't thinking. That's not the Salton. It's the it's not the Skycomich. It's north of Skycomich. It's all those cool rivers. All my Washington folks will know what they are. There's 2 or 3 rivers up north of Tumwater that are rad, kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And there's one that starts at a dam, and it's like a 2-mile section. It's just huge monster boulders, which they say it's no matter what level you pick, it's going to be class 5 or 5 higher. It is probably class 6 because usually when you have boulders, you have structure, which enough water going over boulders creates monster toilet bowl holes. So, but anyway, just talking about American Whitewater, you can find them online if you look them up. You can support them. I think their membership's like $40 a year, 40 or $60 a year. They provide good value. They provide a list of rivers, and they provide what the flow is. They got a really good website. And again, they advocate for us to get water. So again, it's all class 2.